Hello. Hi, my fancy friends. Welcome to another little live stream with me, Matthew. Oh my goodness, my video settings are they're a little warm. They're a little hot looking. Looks a little bright. Hi everybody. How are you all? I hope you're all doing well. Good to see you. Hello to Veronica and Tom. And who else? Willow is here. And Dave, good to see you. Uncle Deadly, of course, always a pleasure to see Uncle Deadly. Mr. T and David Abercrombie, hooray. And oh, Throberdon, hello to Brian. AJ, it's been so long since I could tune into one of these. I work every Saturday forever, but finally got a day off with no customers. Good, get rid of those customers. They're the problem with every business. Just get rid of the customers. Good day to all, says Matthew Park. Hello to you. Hello to Gary. Bumble Homestead, thank you so much for the tip. Hooray! Getting the stream off on a very nice start with a lovely rainbow and a tip. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Bumble. Hooray. And Rezel's here. It's been a long time. Hi. We moved the campaign back in person. I couldn't come to the streams. I have a short break. Wanted to wish you and the viewers a great time. Well, I wish you a great time. I hope your campaign is going well. I want to hear all about it, but don't let me keep you from all of the adventuring that you have to do. Let me see if I can just turn this very bright light down just a little bit. Just a little bit here. Well, that's a lot. How about over here? There we go. That looks a little better, right? That's better. Yes. Who else have we got? We've got Bumble stopping in between Nutcracker meetings. David, sounds painful. Yes, I hope nutcracking is going well. I was wondering where the classical music was. Yes, sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's still playing a little bit in the background. I had it turned way down, but I've got a little tiny bit. Let me know if that balance is good. We want to have a nice classy time this morning or afternoon or wherever you are. Canada Brian needs tea. Yes, I have. James made me a nice cup of tea right here. What am I enjoying? I think it's a throat coat. I'll tell you what, it is a cold and blustery day here in Seattle. I don't know how it is for you up in Vancouver, Brian, but today the wind was blowing quite, I was going to say lustily, quite blustily? Blusty? Brusty? It's quite breastily during the night. I could hear like loud. It sounded like from a movie or something like that. The noise that wind makes in movies and almost never in real life. It was a loud noise. Anyway, from the wind. Now that seems to have calmed down, but it is a chilly day. It's going to get down to 32. They're saying today, which is I'd like some snow. That's what I'm hoping for. So I've got my hot tea here. James also made me some nice warm oatmeal, which is good. I've got a heating pad that I've got on my body, and I took out a warm blanket, but I left it on the futon behind me. You can see it on the futon right there. So there's a warm blanket taunting me in the background. Bumble says, Kiddo does not have Youth Grand Prix rehearsal this week. I got a visit for a minute. What is that? Is that a dance thing? Michael is here. Hello to Michael. And Tomer, hello. Good to see you. Blustery, that's the word I was looking for. Not breastily. The wind was blowing breastily. Canada's in Toronto. Canada is in Toronto, yes. No, Canada Bry is in Toronto. Cold, 24 Celsius, which is 75 Fahrenheit. What? That sounds like a terrible mistake. 75 in Toronto, my stars. Well, it is a chilly day here in Seattle. There might be a frost, which had me a little worried that it would be difficult to get my garlic in. So I've got garlic bulbs coming in the mail. For some reason, it's hard to buy garlic cloves in for planting in Washington State. Like it's one of those things that you're not allowed to ship to Washington. So I've got some garlic cloves coming in the mail from a Washington grower. But they are not here yet, and they need to go in the ground soon before the ground actually freezes. I don't think it's going to freeze. I'll be able to plant them just fine. Still, I've got to do all my soil amendments and stuff before the truly cold weather comes. I can't even tell you all what a relief it is to have this little heating pad on my lap. Oh, and a tip from Matthew Park. Hooray! Thank you. Look at that unicorn. Oh my goodness. So do you get a choice? Here's my question. Does it give you a choice? Does YouTube give you a choice of the sticker, or does it just choose like you're gonna get a rainbow? Because that's so good. I like the rainbow unicorn so much. James was showing me some of his armor in Monster Hunter earlier. He's been playing a lot of Monster Hunter, and so have I. And one of the armor costumes has a little unicorn horn headband. And here's the thing: is there's so much armor in this game, y'all. But every single one that he flips through, I'm like, could someone cosplay that? Could I make that costume? Could I cosplay this one? So far, the thing that I want to cosplay most is the cats. Shockingly. But anyway, oh, Aman is here. Hello to Aman. Oh, so good to see you. Blustery means blowing in loud and abrupt bursts, whereas windy means accompanied by wind. Well, there we have it. Aman, I hope you are having a lustily blustery day. It's so good to see you. Hooray! I hope you're well. Canada Bryce says your Hades review in quotes, was amazing. If you haven't watched it yet, go check out my video about the game Hades. I've started a new video series with The Stranger, who's the Alt Weekly here in Seattle, called Playdate. So if you go look at The Stranger's YouTube, which I'm just out of curiosity, if you just Google Playdate, I'm sure you find all kinds of stuff. Never mind. It's not gonna. If you search YouTube for Playdate, I bet you're gonna find. James is laughing at me. Let's see. I don't think it's gonna be dirty necessarily. But, okay, yeah, it's like relaxing. It's like chill out music, apparently. Somebody's music video. Looks like some fan cams. Okay, yeah. So if you search for Playdate Hades, I bet it'll come up. Nope. You're getting Hades reviews. Gotta do something about discoverability on this one. Playdate Hades Matt Baume. Now my videos are coming up, but not the Playdate video. Yeah, YouTube, the algorithm, not into this. Not into this video, apparently.
Stranger?
Let's try that. Playdate Stranger. Yeah. Now we're getting videos about some sort of Stranger Things playdate. So let's see. I gotta find a better way. Gotta get these things more algorithm friendly. Anyway, I'll put a link in the chat. I'll actually find it somehow. Matt Baume, Stranger, Hades. It's shocking, but not shocking, considering the viewership on it. It's not widely viewed. That it's just completely hidden in search. Well, how do you like that? Anyway, I did a video about the game Hades. It was a lot of fun. I attempted to remember, so the game Hades features a lot of Greek gods, and I tried to remember the stories of the Greek gods completely from memory, just solely from memory. Didn't go well. I remember very, very little about them, and for some reason was just convinced that whatever it was, whatever the game was, or whatever the Greek god was, I was convinced that Vor was in their story somewhere. Somebody got eaten, somebody ate somebody else. I was just totally convinced that there was a lot of like eating of one god and another. Which I think there has been some, but I don't think I got anything right. Oh, well. Dave says, about 17-year-old stomping grounds. Foliage looks nice. Ooh, 70. Gosh, what is with all the warm weather on the East Coast? You get to choose them, says Matthew Park. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you get to choose the stickers. Mr. T did first day of early voting. Glad to hear that. Good. I hope everybody is getting involved in the voting. Everybody, share your voting plans. I've got my ballot on the table over there. I have the Stranger. I've helped write their election guide, their voting guide, so I'm going to be using that as my basis for voting for everybody here in Seattle. I don't think most of those races will be relevant to anybody else in the chat, but, it's there. It's been overcast in Los Angeles, says Amon. I remember those days, those cloudy days. It's actually kind of sunny and blue here in Seattle now. Still cold, but sunny. It's one of those like very clear, very cold days. Jay Randall asks, does James ever let you call him Jim? My boyfriend's name is James, but he only lets me call him Jim. I hate it. Oh no! No, James is always James. Anyone familiar with the story? Oh well, of course, Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. Of course. Oh, Mr. T says, I looked up Playdate Hades and I found it. Okay. Why didn't I find it? That's weird. You know, it's probably because you're logged in and it knows you're... Oh, there we go. There we go. It's right at the top. Okay. No space. That's the key. Don't put a space in the title. So let me just copy. I'm going to put that in the chat. Here's the Hades video. So, yeah, go give that a like and a subscribe and a thumbs up, because the algorithms has some doubts about it. Mr. Moocher says, "Hey Herman, I showed one of your Culture Cruise videos to my non-binary friends and they liked it. Oh, good! Hooray!" Okay, Michael. Okay, that's what it is. Michael says the father of Zeus ate his children, I think. Yes. Kronos. Yes, because there's that weird, like, Renaissance or, I don't know, Middle Ages or whatever, painting of Kronos eating his children, and he's just got this real gross, slobbery mouth. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, Uncle Deadly says Kronos ate his 6 kids. There we are. It's like a praying mantis. Will has been reading A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. After I'm done with that series, I'm going to read The Jet Setters by Amanda Eyre Ward, or a few H.P. Lovecraft stories. Ooh, that does sound good. I've been reading the... let me make sure I've got... I just started... Like, I'm on chapter 1 of... it's not the Dragonlance books. What's the... let me look it up. Clearly, it's made a deep impression because... I've forgotten the name of it already. Literally, I picked it up from... I put it on hold at the library like a month ago. It was finally ready for me to pick up today, or yesterday. And so I picked it up yesterday. What is the name of that book? Does it not even say on my profile what books I have checked out? Oh, well. Let's see here. Library... And my library holds are ready to pick up The Dragonbone Chair. That's the name of it. So I just started reading just last night. The Dragonbone Chair. And so far so good. It's one of those books that starts with a map. In fact, multiple maps. There's 2 maps. That's my gauge. If a book starts with a map, that means it's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy it. And oh my goodness, I've been reading a lot on the Kindle, and I like the Kindle. It's very convenient. I like being able to just like lean back on the couch and pick up the phone or the iPad and just like bloop, 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 scroll through it. Very convenient. And also not to have like books taking up a lot of space, even though that looks nice when books do that. But having a physical book in my hands feels so nice after reading on the Kindle for so long. It's just, it's a real pleasure to have, like, you know, for one thing, to be able to flip back to the map, of course, but also just to be like flipping a page, putting your bookmark in. It's just real nice. It's real nice. Anyway, Dragonbone Chair, recommended so far. Like I said, just on chapter 1, but it's a good setup. The king is dying. That's the setup for the book. The king is dying, and he's thinking a lot about his successor. Meanwhile, there's a young boy living at the castle. He's like a scullery boy, I guess. Is that a thing? He's like, he's kind of like Runt from The Sword and the Stone. Not his actual name. Arthur, of course, was his actual name. Yeah, so he's kind of like the boy from Sword in the Stone. He's like, what is my place in life? I don't know what's to become of me. Everyone seems to have a trajectory, but I feel so lost. And so, I don't know, maybe he's going to be our main character. Maybe he's going to be the hero, the unlikely hero of the story. The author, Tad Williams, said that it's a tribute, in part, to the books that made him who he is as a kid, including Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And that... he acknowledges now, looking back in hindsight, the book was written in the early 80s, looking back, it's very Tolkien-ish at the beginning, he said in the opening paragraphs. So, yes, it is. Anyway, so yeah, what else is going on? I hope everybody's voting. I'm going to be talking about some of the research I've been doing, giving you all a little sneak preview at some upcoming Culture Cruise stuff, because I found some real fascinating stuff that I want to share. It's real good. And BT Dubs, if you are subscribed to me over on Patreon, you get a little exclusive video message from me once a month where I share even more stuff. So it's just a little quick, like me holding the camera, holding the phone, talking to the camera about what I'm working on, sharing a few little highlights of the research that I've picked up. But I'm also going to give you a little sneak peek at that a little bit later in the stream today. Let's see. Uncle Deadly voted yesterday, got my flu shot. Oh my goodness, that's quite a polling place. Boy, they got everything there. Really, you're doing your civic duty twice. It's a double duty. Let's see. Bumble voted first day of early voting in Texas. Great, glad to hear that. Texas obviously needs some good people voting in it. Matthew Park did some early voting this morning with 2 friends in Ohio, waiting for 2 hours. Each county only has 1 location. Oh boy, that really takes me back to 2000. Yeah, that's when we were voting for. No, wait. No, it must be. It was 2002. It's 2002, right? When were we voting for John Kerry? No, that was 2000. Gosh, that seems like forever ago. I mean, it was literally 20 years ago. Kerry presidential run. No, it was pre-John Kerry. That's right. It was Al Gore. Jeez. It's Al Gore in 2000. Yeah, so I had to wait online. It was probably 2 to 3 hours. This was back in Boston. And yeah, it was a long wait to voting on paper. That was before like computer voting machines, which I don't even know. Like, do they have those with folks who voted in person? Do they have those? I haven't voted in person in... I'm trying to think of the last time I actually voted in person. It was in San Francisco. It was right around the corner from me. It was probably like 2006 or so. And then mail-in ballots were a thing. So yeah, I've just always voted that way ever since. Let's see. Oh, wait, the painting, not Jim says the painting is Saturn eating his son. Oh my goodness, it's not even... How many... See, this is what I mean. This is why I thought there's so much vor. It's all vor all the time, the Greek myths. That's what I said in my Hades videos, that Greek myths are the original vor erotica. That's my story. Saturn and Cronus were also a tag team called the Eliminators in ECW. Well, there you go. Did they eat people? Willis says, I'm almost done with the 2nd book of A Song of Ice and Fire. I got 3 books before I'm done with the series. Boy, oh boy, those last 3, though. I'll tell you what, those last 3 books. Look, I don't know what was going on in George R. R. Martin's life at the time. I made that sound like I do know what's going on now. I don't know. I don't know this guy. I don't know what his story is, but sure does seem like he's got a lot of words. He has a lot of stuff that he wants to write once he actually writes it. Maybe could have used someone being like, I don't know about these. I don't know about these words. Maybe you don't need all of them. Those last couple books, they do go on. I started with, I think I read the first 2 I read the first 2 with my ears. I did book on tape, audiobook. That's what they're called now. I did audiobook version of the first 2 Game of Thrones books. And then switched over to Kindle, I think. I think I read them... Yeah, on a screen. And wow, they took forever. They just, woof. There are some... Daenerys gets, like, polar bear caged, and which is what we call it when a character just has nothing to do, based on, Lost did this famously. They just put the characters in a polar bear cage for half a season. So Daenerys gets a polar bear cage of her own, and some gastrointestinal problems that seem to last for an entire novel. Kevin says, in Boston, was Romney governor then? I think that was pre-Romney. That would have been Deval Patrick? Was that who's governor? Or mayor? Massachusetts governor 2000. That would have been Paul Cellucci. No real memory of him. I think it was the mayor that I was more paying attention to back then. Who's the mayor in 2000? Josiah Quincy. No, he was one of the first. Thomas Menino, that's right. He was the mayor of Boston for 20 years. How how could I forget? Because I was friends with a guy named Tom Menino at the time. It was very weird that I was friends with a guy with the same name as the mayor. Not related. Not related. As I recall, my friend Tom was the son of a... Nope. I was going to say he's the son of a guy who got famous from toothpaste. Like his father ran a toothpaste factory or something like that. But I think I'm thinking of the character J.P. Jones from the comic book Millie the Model from the 1960s. So there's a timely reference for you. Where are my spoons? Mailed in my vote, just because I don't think I have the energy to go deal with Georgia voting lines. That, if you can mail it in, mail it in. But do keep track of your little slip, your little like tracking slip, so you can look it up, because every so often something goes wrong and it doesn't actually make it to where it's supposed to go. Here in Seattle, there was somebody vandalized, let's put it nicely, with unpleasant substances, one of the voting boxes. And somewhere else, I want to say it was Los Angeles, actually. I think it was LA. Might have been San Francisco. I think it was LA. Somebody set one of the voting boxes on fire. So do hold on to your like voting by mail slip just to double check, just to make sure. Here in the UK, voting takes minutes and is very easy, says Gary. Oh, well, I mean, you did sort of invent constitutional systems of government. So, I mean, I don't know. Is that fair to say? Is that fair? Like the Magna Carta, is that really the first constitutional? But there wasn't, is there voting there? I don't know that much about the Magna Carta. That's my confession for this stream. Fleecills is here. Hello to Fleecills. How are you? Mon says, I enjoyed the last 3 Song of Ice and Fire books. He did not really need to add those other characters. I know! There were so many. Oh my god, new little things. And I like a new little thing. Like, okay, well, I don't want the same book that I just read like 4 or 5 times. And so, yeah, give me some new stuff. But like, have a little payoff maybe? Have them do something? Give us a reason to make the acquaintance of these characters? Oh, boy. Oh, what, Tom? Tom's wife says, Matt's looking especially cute today. Thank you. Well, I owe it all to this cute little shirt. I just got this new shirt. It is very soft. Because I realized all of the, like, long sleeve shirts, we're getting into long sleeve weather, and I realized all the long sleeve shirts that I have are maybe almost as old as when I voted for Al Gore in 2000. I don't think that old. Shirley Temple, not that old. Actually, I'm thinking, do I have 20-year-old? No, not quite that, but yeah, so at least 10. Anyway, so I've realized that I've got very old shirts. So I got a new one, and it's very soft and very comfy, and it looks kind of sporty. So I feel pretty cute. Yes, Dave Rendon, Mumbles Menino. That's the yes, fondly I recall. Yep. Not Jim says the story of Saturn eating his son wasn't about Vor. That was a small detail. You know, Vor is in the eye of the beholder or the mouth of the predator. That's your fortune cookie for message for today. He was trying to avoid being overthrown by sons as the prophecy was foretelling. Oh, okay. Well, that is interesting, and I will absolutely misremember that in the future when I'm like, yeah, I think there was a prophecy that Saturn was going to turn his children into fortune cookies. My sister almost voted early. My sister also voted early, says Matthew Park. 1 county away, only 2 people ahead of her. 45 is only a rally. Will wants to read some of George R. Martin's other books. Watch not Lady and the Tramp. The Boy and the Girl. You know that movie, The Boy and the Girl? No, it was a TV show about Beauty and the Beast. Gosh, Beauty and the Beast. He wrote some of that TV show. So modern day, I want to say in the 90s, maybe late 80s, modern day interpretation of Beauty and the Beast, must have been late 80s, with the Beast being a monster who lived in the New York City sewers, I think? I guess like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Anyway, George R. R. Martin wrote some of those. Ooh. Oh, Amon says the voting box fire was L.A. That's, boy, that's a metaphor for this country, isn't it? Porky says, voted for the first time recently. Congratulations. Very glad to hear that. Welcome to voting. It's not a perfect system, but what are you going to do? Anyway, hooray for voting. It was like a Disneyland line, but with way more bureaucracy. Oh, I don't know. Those Disneyland, like getting the, like your annual pass and coordinating. Oh, we got to go get the reservation for this ride, and we got to go to Indiana Jones and wait in the line and oh, but we have to be at the Tiki Room by noon for the group dance. Y'all, you ever done that? Have you ever done the when you go to Disneyland for gay days, when there's the big group number at the Tiki Room, you're supposed to I don't know if any, no, people actually do this. They actually literally do this. There's a video online with a dance that the audience is supposed to do. It's like seated dance, but you're supposed to do like hand gestures along with the Tiki Room dance, with the Tiki Room song. That's some sort of like weird gay days tradition. Anyway, gay days at Disneyland. It's a fun time. Bubbles off to the ballet. Have fun at the classy ballet. That sounds lovely. Oh, I just realized this music might go into an ad at some point, so I'm just going to check that and make sure it doesn't start playing ads for, I don't know. What has it been playing ads for? It's been giving me ads. Lately, I've been getting a lot of ads for, like, agricultural farming equipment. I think because I like animal videos. So I've been getting ads for, like, just escalating animal products. Like, a while ago I got a thing for, like, putting on cows' udders to keep them from getting chapped, and something else to, like, protect hooves. And I'm like, okay, I just want to look at, like, cats petting capybaras. I don't actually need to take care of livestock. Yep, Kevin Tran says, it's definitely Vor. He swallows them whole. That's what I'm saying. It's all those Greek myths. They're all, like, weird 621 erotica. Zeus ate Athena's mom while she was pregnant and had to birth her from his head. Oh, yeah, that's familiar. That was a Zeus thing, right? I should have brought that up in my video. Didn't he? Yeah, he gave birth from his forehead or something like that? Tiki Room's the best, says Kevin. Yes, it is good. Scott says, Gay Days is better at Wet and Wild. Oh, my. That was a long time ago. What is Wet and Wild? So that is either like a themed day at like Six Flags, or it's just a bathhouse. I can't tell the difference. Maybe they should build a bathhouse at Six Flags. Oh, there you go, Matthew Park. Beauty and the Beast, TV series 87 to 90, starring Linda Hamilton. That's right, Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman. What a cast. So weird. Linda Hamilton, yeah, not to be confused with Linda Blair. In my head, I was like, wait, Linda Blair? No, Linda Hamilton. From the Terminator movies, right? Not Jim says, my favorite part of the ancient world is that Rome thought they knew everything. They thought that logs in the ocean birthed birds. They thought migration was impossible. Sure. I mean, I kind of like that. I like that theory. You can see me behind the wheel of a combine. Amon says, did you get an ad for Bag Balm? I think it was like a knockoff product. It was like, maybe it was Bag Balm. Now I can't remember. We talked about this on Cozy Pants, another Patreon benefit. If you join my Patreon over at patreon.com/MattBaum, we have an occasional podcast called Cozy Pants, where James and I talk about whatever joys we're getting out of the entertainment that we're experiencing right now. For some reason, Bag Balm came up on that show. It's a salve that you put on cow udders. Wet n Wild is a water park. That's what I thought. Okay. I had a feeling it would either be that, it would either be a water park. I mean, I guess what is a bathhouse if not a water park? Gross. Yeah, the Disney bathhouse. Tom says that's just backstage. Anyway, yeah. So head over to Patreon and sign up to get some exclusive benefits, like a little video message from me about what I'm working on, a little Culture Cruise sneak peek, and Cozy Pants. And you sign up at a certain level, you'll get some special things in the mail, some treats in the mail. But on the topic of sneak peeks at Culture Cruise, I just want to talk a little bit about like some of the research that I've been doing lately for an upcoming video. Just give you a little taste of what I've been looking at. Kissing. I've been looking at kissing. Has been the my research for the past few weeks. It's particularly like gay kiss episodes of TV shows. So I don't know if you all remember in the 90s or were even alive, but back in the 90s, especially like early 90s, there's this like paranoia about gay kisses on television. Like, it was forbidden. In part because although there had been some gay kisses earlier on TV, they tended to be like real brief, not that controversial. Often it was a way to indicate that someone was like a psycho killer. Like, you would show like two women kissing to be like, oh, they're evil lesbians. Or I can't remember the name of it. There's a made-for-TV movie featuring a mad killer who kisses his boyfriend, and it was like, oh well, they're evil. But then around the late 80s with Tales of the City, they started doing so Tales of the City had like a very prominent gay romance, and conservatives freaked out, and there were like congressional condemnations, and laws were passed that PBS, because PBS broadcast it, PBS was banned from promoting homosexuality. So suddenly gay kisses turned into this like huge thing that just wasn't allowed, period. And when it did pop up, like occasionally it would pop up on like 21 Jump Street, for example, which is, again, like, probably predates many of the people in the chat's existence. But, yeah, so, blah, 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 blah. What was I saying? 21 Jump Street had a gay kiss, maybe because they had to edit it or shoot it so carefully so as not to, like, freak people out. If you're watching the scene, these two characters go in for the kiss, and they're going like closer and closer and closer, and suddenly the camera cuts really tight on like their eyes, and you just see their eyes, and it's like, what could they possibly be doing with their lips? I guess we'll never know. Oh, it's a mystery. Michael, yeah, why won't they show a gay kiss? Their symbol is a peacock. Yeah, Paul says Dawson's Creek. Well, so we did get Dawson's Creek gay kissing eventually, but it took some doing. It took some doing and some big risks from other shows. So that's basically where you're at. You're at like, PBS almost completely defunded. Like, there was a push to defund completely PBS over this one gay kiss. And so after that, shows were really paranoid. And also the show 30-something, again, predating everybody in the chat, I'm sure, 30-something showed two men just in bed, like not even doing anything. They're just like lying in bed, not touching. And that cost the network the equivalent of $40 million in lost advertisers. So many sponsors pulled out that it cost them, it was $1.5 million in 1988 dollars, which works out to about $40 million today. So, yeah, after that, networks were like, no, we just, gay people just don't kiss. They just don't. Gay people just don't either. They usually don't exist, or they never touch their faces together. So as a result, you get weird stuff like the Golden Girls episode where her brother comes to visit with his partner, fiance, who he wants to marry. He's going to marry him. And in the entire episode, they like never touch. They're about to get married, and you never see them touch until the very last scene at the very end. And they hug, but they hug with Blanche standing between them. So it's like, okay, gay couples can hug as long as there's a woman standing between the two men. So, yeah, like gay couples just weren't allowed to have affection on TV for a long time. Yeah, the Will and Grace, Michael says the Will and Grace episode talks about it. And of course, we get Will and Grace. We get Dawson's Creek eventually. We get Buffy the Vampire Slayer eventually. But took a long time. Took a long time. Oh, Tomer has a comic book recommendation. Softies by Kyle That can't be right. Kyle Smelly? Smeely, right? It's got to be Smeely. I just want to believe someone's named Kyle Smelly. Oh, that does look cute. Oh, and it just came out. It came out. Why? Oh, this should be on my radar. Softies. This looks fantastic. Okay. I will definitely look into this. I like the looks on that. Yep. Okay. Tom says, you sound like Thought Slime there. Well, that is high praise indeed. If y'all aren't following Thought Slime, you should go check him out. Not right now. You should stay on this live stream so the algorithm knows that you like me. But yeah, go check out Thought Slime. He's great. He's a Toronto-based, I think, YouTuber who does videos about like left tube stuff, about communism, but also horror movies. He has a very fun series called Scaredy Cats. That's a lot of fun to watch. I was actually going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a little bit later in the stream today. Speaking of queer and horror, Melrose Place was Hug City, zero kissing. In fact, okay, so funny story about Melrose Place. Funny that you bring that up, Dave. They finally had a gay kiss with the character who I think was named Matt on the show. I want to say I've never seen Melrose Place. So they were gonna finally have a kiss with the gay character. Decided against it. Cut away at the last second. And it was because of 30-something. Like, they specifically talked about 30-something at the time. The head of the network was like, look, it cost 30-something, $1.5 million. Fox was a brand new-ish network at the time, and they only had about 15 hours a week of programming. So he was like, if we lose all our sponsors on one show, that's like a big deal, especially Melrose Place, which was very popular. Like, Fox might not exist if they do a gay kiss, was the fear. So, yeah. Yeah, Kevin Tran says, in the early 2000s, SNL and Mad TV would play gay kisses for laughs. The Air Supply Thanksgiving Time sketch with Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan. Yeah, so, like, there were more of them after a while, but they still weren't, like, wasn't the kindest depiction. Yeah, and Amon says, of course, the famous gay kiss with Dax. Course, and YouTube account says, talked about Kurt and Blaine on Glee. That's way later. That's in the 2000s. My goodness. Yeah, and Matthew Park says, look what ABC is putting on the air now with How to Get Away with Murders, Oliver and Connor. Oh, I should make a note of that. I need something to write with. How to Get Away with Murder, Oliver and Connor. That is a good note because, yeah, ABC was kind of at the forefront of a lot of that stuff. Probably unwillingly. Like, they really had to be dragged kicking and screaming to it. Get Away with Murder, Oliver Connor. Really had to be dragged kicking and screaming. So, and I'll tell you the story of like how the show Roseanne got away with doing gay kisses in just a minute. But yeah. Oh, and Kevin recommends Renegade Cut, another great YouTuber. Message of Nightmare on Elm Street. The reality TV, Renee says, reality TV never has more than one gay person unless it's a trope of a show. They don't have to worry about a gay kiss. Well, I mean, that certainly was like the case in the 90s with like, what was it? Not Road Rules, The Real World. There was always like the gay one every season, and it was like a big secret at first. So like it was kind of a trope for a while where like one character at the start of every Real World season would be like, I have this secret. Like there'd be like a hot tub scene or something like that. And he like confide and be like, I have this secret, but I'm really scared to tell anybody. And I just don't want them to know. And I can't tell anyone. And you'd be like, oh, okay. He's going to be the gay one in like 2 episodes. So anyway, what was I talking? Oh yeah. So, ABC, had one of the most popular shows on TV with the show Roseanne. And the producers were like, hey, you know what we want to do? We want to have a gay kiss episode. Which I can only imagine how the executives must have freaked out at that. Just like, you want to do what? No. So because the show was so popular, and because some very clever PR maneuvering, like they did some very clever games with involving reporters to basically play the reporters against the network. They were able to get the episode aired. It was a big hit. People loved it. So ABC programmed it against the Grammys. Like it aired at the same time as the Grammys, and it had double this one episode of Roseanne with a gay kiss had double the viewership. Now that having been said, it's not the best representation in this one episode because it's a kiss between a character who's queer and a character who's straight, and the straight character like wipes her tongue off afterwards. So it's not like, oh hooray, gay love is love. Oh, it's wonderful and romantic. But it's at least a start. And then after that, then they could start having, a little bit more here and there. They could start like other shows could slip a little gay kiss in without having to do the dumb trick of like, oh, but we got to zoom way in. We can't let the audience actually see what's happening. Oh no, it's got to be a tasteful cutaway or something. So they were able to eventually make it happen. Then Ellen came out 2 or 3 years after that. There was a gay kiss on Ellen. ABC still not totally comfortable with gay kisses because they put a parental advisory before the gay kiss episode, which, okay, sure, for goodness sake. Ellen kisses Jolie Foster. Jodie Foster, someone else. Jolie Fisher. Carrie Fisher's sister. So kisses her on an episode, and ABC's like, "Oh no, parents, you must be warned. Beware! Don't let your children see the two women kissing. Don't let anyone see Ellen DeGeneres kiss Princess Leia's sister." Sim says, MASH has several gay kiss jokes, mostly with Hawkeye. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know about that. Tom says, the gay best friend trope with very romantic comedy. And, oh, yeah. Yeah, like the non-sexual gay best friend who's like, I'm just here to support the straight people. I don't know if that really is a thing anymore. I feel like gay characters actually can have their own lives now. I don't know. Do they still have, like, gay best friend tropes on TV? I feel like now you can actually just have gay people, like, I'm thinking of, like, Queer Eye, for example. Or, a show like Glee, where it's like, no, they're actually going to get a romance. They're actually going to kiss. Oh, yeah, and Matthew Park says The Conners, another ABC show, have Darlene's preteenish son Mark openly gay. Yeah, and, what's amazing about that, of course, is, like, the actress who plays Darlene is herself gay in real life. There's actually an amazing scene on an earlier episode of Roseanne from back in the 90s where the character played by Sandra Bernhardt, Nancy, comes out as bisexual. But here's the thing, they don't even use the word bisexual. She's like, she was married to a man, and now she's dating women, and they're like, they either call her gay or call her a lesbian. But the word bi or bisexual just never happens. Sandra Bernhardt in real life, bisexual. The character, I'm pretty sure... actually, she may only have had relationships with women after that. So, maybe she wasn't bisexual. I don't know. Anyway. Roseanne's trying to explain, the character Roseanne is trying to explain lesbianism to Darlene, which is just so weird because obviously the character is played by a woman who realized a few years after that she was herself a lesbian. But she has this line where she's like, I already know everything about lesbians. And watching it now, it's like, yeah, I'm sure you do. You know everything except that you yourself are one. She's talked about how she realized she was a lesbian while she was dating one of the other actors from the show. So anyway, that's some of the stuff that I'm doing some research on for upcoming Culture Cruise. And there's a lot more. I'm also going to be talking about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be talking about Mary Hartman. Speaking of things that like are older than everybody watching this stream, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too far, but Mary Hartman, this incredibly bizarre, incredibly weird show from the 70s. I want to say 76 to 77, I believe. So it was a Norman Lear show. And it was this weird experiment. Be like, what if we made like a hybrid soap opera and sitcom? No laugh track. We'll have jokes, but nobody will laugh. And it'll just have this eerie silence. It has this sort of like feel that's kind of like Twin Peaks to me, where it's just like unsettling and creepy, but it's also a little bit soap with like the super sitcom-y sets of it's shot on video and there's like 3 walls angled out like a stage. Was not a huge success. It was good enough that Norman Lear like could keep working, but it didn't like ruin his career or anything. Only lasted 2 seasons, and in those 2 seasons they made 325 episodes, which is incredible. 325 episodes over 2 years. It's a bit like, actually, now that I say this, it sounds a bit like, what's the name of it? Dark Shadows, I think? The weird vampire-y soap opera from England. So anyway, Mary Hartman had a lot of gay content for the time, for 76 to 77. In part, because, so I was researching, and I was like, what network was on? How did the network let them get away with having gay characters and talking about gay marriage on the show in 76? And the answer is the network didn't allow it. There was no network. Norman Lear just made the show and then gave it directly to local stations so they could air whatever they wanted, basically. Dave says, my friend is a huge Mary Hartman fan? But largely relevant says, are you listening to Ride of the Valkyries? Yeah, so we've got classical music playing in the background. Isn't this nice? It may be a little ostentatious and loud. Hold on, I'm gonna boop this back to the beginning of the Beginning of the stream. There. This is more peaceful. Renee says, I love Dark Shadows black and white. Oh, it's so good. I love it too. It's like, it's not great. It's like, I went to a Dark Shadows marathon once. It was like at somebody's house. And we were just watching Dark Shadows for an entire day. And what I discovered is the show isn't at its best when you're just watching it straight through. It's at its best when you're watching highlights. And some of my favorite highlights are of all the things they screwed up on the show, because they made it fast and cheap and dirty. And like, you could see moments where like crew people just kind of like walk past, or like a fly lands on someone's face, or someone gets their lines wrong or something. They're constantly screwing stuff up, or somebody like knocks a wall over. So I love Dark Shadows for its screw-ups. And also, it had a very campy vampire character in Barnabas Collins for a while. Anyway, what was I talking about? Mary Hartman made a similar level of fidelity. Clear that they weren't going for like, this has to look amazing. This has to be high-quality television. No, it was not. It's like almost unwatchably bad. Mary Hartman. Sorry, Mary Hartman fans, all 8 of you. But it's boring. It's just a boring, bad show. But Mary Hartman had a gay couple on it. They kiss. They talk about getting married. It's very progressive for the 70s. And then they had a spin-off, for some reason, of that show called Fernwood Tonight, starring Fred Willard and, I was going to say Leon Trotsky. Not his name. Martin Mull. You know, Leon Trotsky, Martin Mull, very interchangeable. So Martin Mull and Fred Willard were on the show Fernwood Tonight. It was like a fake talk show. And then years later, they teamed up again for episodes of Roseanne where they played a gay couple. So there you have it. A weird connection to gay TV of the past. Matthew Park says, Mary Hartman is streaming anywhere? No, if you want to watch it, you can either pay $120-something to get the full series on DVD on Amazon, or you could go to the Museum of TV and Radio in New York and like watch it there. But you have to watch it there. You can't like take it out, or you can't check it out like a library. You have to like sit there and watch all 300 hours of the show at the museum. But yeah, or you can, find it through less legal means, which is possibly what the laptop behind me might be doing right this second. Maybe doing some downloads right at this very second for the upcoming videos I'm working on. Yeah, Alexa says, Mary Hartman Wikipedia page is a fascinating read. Yes. Oh, Dave says, largely irrelevant. Matt is over with us. Oh, wait. So, sorry, I'm like piecing together the conversation about wrestling that's happening, like the little back channel discussion. One Mary Hartman DVD set left at Amazon for $46. Okay, there you go. Money well spent. I mean, it is hard to watch. I'll just put it that way. The clips that I've been searching for, like on YouTube, when I find like somebody uploaded some of the gay content to YouTube, so I was like doing some research with those, and I had to watch them on double speed because I'm like, oh my god, the show is incredibly slow. Like that's the thing that makes it just hard to watch, is it's so like it takes so long to get to anything, and the scenes don't really end, they just kind of like end in the middle. Anyway, so yeah, what else was I researching for that Culture Cruise? Oh, also, of course, John Goodman on Roseanne. We all love John Goodman, fabulous actor. We love him in Hudsucker Proxy? Nope, different Coen Brothers movie. Oh well, the Coen Brothers movie where he walks down the hallway that's on fire. That one, you know the one. And then, of course, after Roseanne ended, John Goodman was on a failed sitcom called Normal, Ohio. I don't know if you all have ever heard of this. Didn't last more than a few episodes. But John Goodman played a gay man, and the big joke was that John Goodman is gay? Whoa! So yeah, that was the whole joke. That was the whole joke of the show. John Goodman playing a gay man, and that was kind of it. That was kind of the gimmick. Show also featured Jolie Fisher, who Ellen kissed just a few years earlier on her show. But yeah, Normal Ohio, not that great. It's just, here's another gay character. And the thing was like, oh, he's, I hate to use this term, straight acting. But he was not like your stereotypical gay man. But he kind of was, because he was like a hairdresser, I think. I may be wrong about that detail. There's definitely an episode where he like styles someone's hair. But he's like, a gay man who's not flouncing and flamboyant? Wow, who knew? Who knew those exist? Speaking of flouncing and flamboyant, more weird gay TV connections. The episode of Roseanne where it's not the kiss episode, it's the gay wedding episode. No, it's the kiss episode. The Roseanne kiss episode was directed by this guy he was a director at the time, but before he was a director, he was an actor. He played the incredibly flamboyant next door neighbor, the gay friend, on the sitcom Brothers a few years before that, which aired, I want to say, 1984 on Showtime. So just more weird gay connections through television. Not actually gay in real life himself, but the guys who wrote the episode were gay. That is the gay kiss episode of Roseanne. Were themselves. Barton Fink, thank you. That's the name of it. Renee says, do you think we'll ever see a gay couple in a mainstream reality dating show like Love Island or The Bachelor or Bachelorette? That's a good question. I think the answer is eventually maybe as a gimmick, but probably not as like a frequent thing. I think, for one thing, the thing that makes queer people special is also the thing that makes us this is actually, I am sounding like Thought Slime now, that queerness is inherently incompatible with capitalism because there are just fewer of us. There are fewer same-sex couples than opposite-sex couples or different sex couples. And so I think networks will just always be like, well, most of our viewers are straight, or most of our viewers are interested in male-female couples, and so we just can't put a gay couple in like this show that only has one couple, that only has one like main dating character. So we just can't because most people aren't gay. And so that's, I think, like, you might see it at some point, like The Bachelorette might be like, this season's incredible twist is we've got a gay guy. Or or just like have him be bisexual or something. Like have a bisexual bachelor or bachelorette. And then people of different genders, maybe even, here's an incredible thought. Non-binary people. Wow. Have people of different genders like in the dating pool. I think that would be great, but I don't think it'll happen. Because capitalism. That's always the, kind of the jokey explanation for things. But honestly, really, because capitalism. So obviously, our duty as queer people is to overthrow capitalism. Oh, really, Matthew Park? I didn't know that. They won a People's Choice Award for Normal Ohio. That's insane. It's not good. It's just... So there were two pilots of Normal Ohio. There's the one that aired, and then there was one that was made and never broadcast, but it's on YouTube, or at least it was at some point. It's terrible. It's like the worst sitcom you can imagine. Like, easy... bad jokes that are like, oh god, so slow. The laugh track seems to be like off slightly, like it laughs like a third of a second too late. Just weird stuff. It's not good. I want to say like it was originally called like Two to Tango or something like that. All right, now I gotta look that up. What was it called? Normal Ohio. Oh god, that's right. This character's name was Butch. Oh boy. Starring Jolie Fisher, Nita Gillette, Orson Bean, Mo Gaffney, and Charles Rocket. Jeez. Yep. Oh gosh, that's right. Sharing his West Hollywood apartment with college friend Anthony LaPaglia. LaPaglia? I don't know. Pilot was well received. Creators Bonnie and Terry Turner felt the premise was not strong enough for a series. The series relocated to Ohio. Oh gosh, that's right. Up against the second half hour of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it flopped. It flopped because it was bad. It wasn't because of what it was up against. Yeah, what was the name of the original, though? Normal Ohio original pilot. Oof, yeah. So it has 1 star in Rotten Tomatoes. I just found a Orlando Sentinel article. It says, a big waste of big talent. Womp womp. Don't Ask. That's right. I don't know where I got 2 to Tango. It's a terrible name. Terrible, terrible name for a sitcom. The original name was Don't Ask. Then it was retitled The Untitled John Goodman Project, which honestly they should have just stuck with. Make it like The Untitled Goose Game. There it is. Yep. Okay. Unsold Pilot. Still on YouTube. You can still find it. Oof. Oof. It's so bad. I do not recommend watching. It's not even worth your time. What did you recommend? Pansexual. We need a dating show with a pansexual. Oh, Tomer says Love Island had 1 gay couple a few years ago. 2 bi women paired up. But since that breaks the gimmick of the show, it is short-lived. That's the problem. Is like you need to create scarcity. Both for capitalism and for a dating show. And so, all bets are off. But if you had, like Largely Irrelevant saying, like if you had an all-pan cast, I mean, sky's the limit on what can happen. Yeah, Kiflam says, would the problem with a gay bachelor be that everyone is having sex with everyone else? That's not a problem. That makes it even sexier. Ooh, oh no, David Abercrombie says, years ago in the UK, we did a dating show with a trans woman called Something About Miriam. It was incredibly transphobic. Ooh. Oh, Amon says, are you the one on MTV? All the contestants were bi or pansexual. Also non-binary and trans. Okay, well, there we go. All right. But is it good? I mean, it's nice to have representation, but is it good? Tom recommends the show Playing It Straight. Oh, wait. I think I remember that. Yes, I do. Wait. Why? Okay, so there are multiple Playing It Straightses. So there's a 2004 reality show. But then there was a... Yeah, okay, there was a more recent one with Jamila Jamil and Alan Carr. This is wild. Okay, so Playing It Straight, I do remember this in the US version. One woman spent time on a ranch with a group of men and attempted to discern which of them were gay and which of them were straight. All the gay men had to pretend to be straight. The women went on individual dates in addition to group activities, and she had to guess which one were gay. Fox only aired 3 episodes before pulling the show from its schedule. Yeah. I remember it being just incredibly bad. Oh, but the person that she picked at the end that they shot but never aired, they stayed together for 2 years. That's nice. So apparently there was an Australian version, there was a UK version. Jamila Jamil hosted it, which is bizarre. The original Fox version was a surprise hit on Dutch television? Oh no! Oh no, the Dutch title was Herken de Homo. Find the gay one. I'm speechless. I am speechless about that. Woof. Okay. Anyway, Sim recommends Poly Bachelor. Everyone gets together. Gay polycule person gets voted out each week. Oh, jeez. That's too much. That's too much drama. That is too much drama. Oh, I was going to say about John Goodman on Normal, Ohio. Gosh, I keep getting sidetracked by all these fascinating little bits of TV history. John Goodman went on to play gay on Normal, Ohio, and this was around the same time that he was, just slightly after he was, not Barney. He was Fred. He was Fred Flintstone in the Flintstones movie. Then replaced later with the actor who played Robert Baratheon on Game of Thrones for Flintstones 2, which is weirdest casting. All the casting in Flintstones 2 is incredibly bizarre. It's also got, what's her name? Jenna Maroney. I forgot her name. What's the actress's name? Jenna Maroney's actress. Jenna Maroney was played by Jane Krakowski. Jane Krakowski in Flintstones 2 played... Oh, was she... Betty or Veronica? Nope, not the characters from the Flintstones. Wilma or Betty? Are those the characters from the Flintstones? She was Betty. Betty O'Shale. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's right. And Kristen Johnson played Wilma. I believe it was a prequel. It was like how they all met. So they all had their like maiden names. So she was Betty O'Shale and Wilma Slaghoople. This is something we discovered about a year ago. When we were talking, James and I were talking about Flintstones 2, as we often do, Viva Rock Vegas. And I just mentioned offhand, like, I just said Wilma Slaghoople offhand, and James was like, how is your memory so bad that you can't remember, like, contemporary actors of today, but you know Wilma's maiden name from the Flintstones?
I did not say your memory was so bad.
You didn't say my memory was so bad? You didn't? Okay. I think that's probably something that I just added in because I'm self-conscious about my memory. But James will sometimes note that I remember very weird things. Like, I do remember weird things. Like, we were talking about Mork and Mindy, and it was like, oh yeah, starring Pam Dauber. And he's like, why do you know the actress from Mork and Mindy like at the tip of your thumb? Not a saying. Grady had a friend named Mistra DeHomo. Is that a real name? Mistra DeHomo? I mean, I like that name, but is that really her name? Geckles says, hello, James.
Hello, Geck.
He says, hello, Geck. I hope you're well. Yes, of course. Liz Taylor was her mom. Liz Taylor, of course, replaced in Flintstones 2 with... I'll remember her name in a second. What was her name? Joan Collins. Joan Collins. Which I think is fair. Like, if you're making a lower budget version of a movie with Elizabeth Taylor, you get Joan Collins. She's like exactly 50% Elizabeth Taylor. Geckel says, Matthew misremembering his memory being insulted. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, so anyway, Mark Addy, actor who replaced John Goodman in Flintstones 2, would go on to be Robert Baratheon. Weird connection. So that's a little sneak peek at some of the Culture Cruise stuff that I've got coming up. There's also an episode of Roseanne that I looked at. It's a Halloween themed episode. She did like very extravagant. The show did extravagant Halloween episodes. There's a little tiny bit of gay content in this one, not a ton though. So I was like, I don't think there's enough to really talk about here. But there's a very fun line at the beginning where Sandra Bernhard is talking to the Leon character played by Martin Mull. They're both queer characters on the show, and they're talking about Halloween and about how the Roseanne character always throws like big extravagant Halloween parties. And one of them's like, can you believe the straight people are trying to take back Halloween? Yeah, everybody knows that's our holiday. So, it's just a fun little observation that like, yeah, Halloween pretty gay. It's a pretty gay show. Tom recommends designer imposter Liz Taylor, Cold Shoulders Parfum. Of course, I mean, if we're talking about Elizabeth Taylor products, we have to talk about White Diamonds. These have always brought me... Not so fast, comrade. It's the weirdest line reading. Not so fast, comrade. So anyway, the story behind that, if you're not familiar, is there was Elizabeth Taylor had a perfume called White Diamonds. It was available at, like, I don't know, Sears? I don't remember. It probably wasn't Sears. Might have been JCPenney. But anyway, Elizabeth Taylor had this perfume called White Diamonds. And they made this elaborate commercial for it that aired, a 30-second version aired on TV. But there's apparently like a full like 10-minute mini-movie short film that played at the department store to like advertise White Diamond, the perfume. And I have searched everywhere for this thing. Have not been able to find it. But it's just incredible. It's so bizarre. It's so strange. It's Elizabeth Taylor like photographed through this gossamer filter where you can barely see her because it's so blurry. It's so like over the top. I love it. Not so fast, comrade. These have always brought me luck. Oh, it's so good. Grady says, wait, Halloween is for sexy blank. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always the case. Like, it didn't used to be like, Halloween didn't used to be the sexy holiday. I don't think, right? I feel like that's a newish thing in the last, like, 2 decades or so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Halloween used to be much more about the spooks. Maybe not. Oh no, Renee says they sell white diamonds at Walgreens. Grady says the White Diamonds ad was epic. The film. Okay, Grady, but where is where is it? I have to see the full thing. Mr. T said they have White Diamond at Walmart. Great, great. I mean, that was kind of the deal. Like, I don't think the idea was like, it would be like that cheap, like a Walmart and like Walgreens product. But part of the idea was like, it was more accessible than like the incredibly expensive parfums. But where is the full film? That's the question. Where can we see the full White Diamond extravaganza? Yeah, that is the mystery that I've been trying to unravel for my entire adult life now. For the last few years, ever since I learned that there was like a full version of it. Yeah. What else have I been looking at? Oh, I've been revisiting some of my Culture Cruise interviews. I've done some, not Culture Cruise, Sewers of Paris interviews. I've done some great Sewers of Paris interviews with folks about like either horror or stuff that's horror adjacent. So if you dive back into the Sewers of Paris archives, I just I revisited one of my episodes about Rocky Horror and about this one guy that I talked to, Matthew Hinson, about how the movie really helped him. He had a really difficult living situation. This is in the 70s when the movie first came out. And he was like on the verge of being homeless and, he was living in like this, I think it was like an abandoned house. But he found this whole community around Rocky Horror Picture Show. It had just come out. It was brand new. And he was living in LA. And he would go to these screenings and just hang out with the weird, freaky kids who were going to see Rocky Horror at midnight every night. And he that's how he found his people, was through Rocky Horror. And that like got him the support he needed to get his life together. And then he joined the army, and there was this whole adventure that he had in the army as a closeted gay man in the army. Dave says, yesterday's guest was great. Oh, yeah, that was him. That was Matthew Hinson. Glad you liked that episode. But you can also listen to, I have an episode about Interview with the Vampire with the wonderful Levi Hastings. So check that out. And what else? Oh, and of course, I have an episode where we talk about Hocus Pocus with Rantasmo, a.k.a. Needs More Gay. So Rantasmo, of course, is the YouTuber who makes the Needs More Gay videos. We talked all about Hocus Pocus and how that was important to him. And there's another good horror one. What was it? Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I feel like we actually talked about that in the Rantasmo episode, but I also have a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 video here on YouTube that you can watch. I recommend. Grady says, I was homeless while couchsurfing in the late 80s playing Frank at the Strand Theater. Oh, and Market Street in San Francisco was our tribe. Wow, Grady, that sounds amazing. I mean, that must have been also, a difficult time not having like a fixed address, but wow, just having that group of people to be like the Rocky Horror, the Shadow Cast, and to be doing the show, gosh. Yeah, Grady says, homeless teens running off to live with the freaks and weirdos and do Rocky every week. It was a thing. Gosh. Renee says, I'll never forget my first Rocky Horror initiation. Oh, that's great. I'm glad that was like, that people have fond memories of that, because I do feel like Rocky Horror has kind of like slipped away a bit. I think I talked about this on the last stream, that it's not the phenomenon that it was. I think in part because it's not as forbidden. Like, it doesn't feel as like, ooh, we're doing something really daring and bold. I mean, it is like, for the time, daring and bold. And there are great songs. And it's a very fun movie. But I don't think it feels like the rebellion that it used to be. Which is why you see like the Rocky Horror episode of Glee, or Fox remaking, it wasn't exactly Fox that remade it, but it aired on Fox, right? It was a remake. It was a new version of Rocky Horror with, I've forgotten her name. Who played Frankenfurter? Was it Janet Mock? Rocky Horror remake. With, of course, directed by Kenny Ortega. No, Laverne Cox, that's right. Yeah. So the remake from 2016, directed by Kenny Ortega, of High School Musical fame. Not exclusively. I mean, Kenny Ortega's done a lot of stuff, but that's kind of what I know him from. High School Musical. What else did he do? Pretty in Pink. choreographer for Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so that big like parade scene, he choreographed that. I interviewed him once very briefly, and he told this amazing story about how in the 70s he was in a touring version, it might have been the 80s, touring version of Hair. And I mean, Hair, controversial at the time. Like today, again, like Rocky Horror, feels very tame. Like, oh, it's a bunch of hippies who are doing like free love. And oh, isn't that cute? They took their clothes off. But at the time, very radical, very subversive. And someone tried to, oh goodness, I'm sorry. Is Cortana waking up and bothering you? This keeps happening. Cortana keeps like interjecting. Anyway, so he was in like North Carolina or South Carolina, or one of those, and they're in the middle of the show, and somebody like gets up on stage and tries to do a citizen's arrest of the cast. I think because they were naked, or at least like being like, I don't know, irreligious or something. But yeah, so he almost got like, I don't think that like the police would actually have come and actually arrested them, but you know, it was this big dramatic thing of like somebody being like, the show's over, you're all under arrest, citizen's arrest. Largely Relevant asks, is The Lost Boys considered a gay movie? That's an interesting question. I think a little controversial, but it's an interesting question. Oh, and Grady says, I told you how we met Tim Curry at the Quran. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes, that you all hung out with Tim Curry. So good. We'll talk about Lost Boys in a minute. I need a moment to like mull that over. Renee says, I think John Waters and Divine is still taboo. I love Pink Flamingos and Female Trouble. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's still like a little bit of like forbidden fun with some John Waters films. Like Desperate Living or Pink Flamingos or Multiple Maniacs, especially like the older stuff. Not so much with like Dirty Rotten Shame, but or I don't know, Pecker. Those don't feel quite so like, I can't believe what they're doing. Even like, you know, Hairspray. Hairspray is just like a family film. But you go back to those older ones. You go back to like, you know, Desperate Living, and you're like, ooh, what are they doing? Brianna says, oh, that's how I first heard Rocky Horror, was from Perks of Being a Wallflower. Grady says, Rocky's kind of tame now. We were way raunchier. Women should not play Frankenfurter. He's not transgender. Frank is a fetishistic crossdresser. Well, I don't know. I think it's, I am all about like gender blind casting, and I don't think there's, it's hard for me to think of any role that I'm like, there needs to be a rule about who is and isn't allowed to play this. I think all roles should be open to everybody. But I agree, like, that the gender rebellion is part of that character, and so it should be incorporated into the role. Like whatever cross-dressing might be for the actor portraying that character, or for the character itself. I think gender rebellion should just be built in. What else have I been speaking of Hocus Pocus, I don't know if y'all saw, but apparently there's like some sort of like Hocus Pocus revival or remake or tribute or something. Like the original Sanderson sisters just got together to shoot something. Bette Midler teased it on her Twitter, I think. It's her and Kathy and Jimmy, and I can't believe I've forgotten her name. What's her name? The girl from Annie. Sarah Jessica Parker. All got together to shoot some new Hocus Pocus thing, which, I don't know, is that going to be good? We'll see. I've never been a huge fan of Hocus Pocus. Like, I get it. I get the fandom. I get that it was, like, it's a fun thing when you're the right age. But coming to it as an adult, I'm like, this is just okay. Oh, speaking of Hocus Pocus, didn't Kenny Ortega also direct that? I think he did. I think that's another Kenny Ortega project. Well, there you go. Anyway, so, yeah, we'll see what that is. I think the fun of Hocus Pocus is remembering how much fun it was to see when you were young. And so as a grown-up, I only watched it like in the last few years. And so the magic just kind of like passed me by. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not like sad about it. You know, I've got plenty of other like fond memories from my childhood. It's just, you know, Hocus Pocus never really did it for me. Also, whenever one of those happens where like somebody gets back into a role that like you're nostalgic for, like often the effect is like, oh boy, everybody's so old now. which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, plenty of nice people are old. Sir Ian McKellen, for example. But I bring him up because we just watched Cats. But yeah, sometimes you see somebody like reprising a role and you're like, wow, a lot of time has passed. Ooh, that's potentially depressing. But anyway, it's time of year to experience some horror stuff. Let's talk about Lost Boys for just a moment. And then it looks like Arson Nicky is probably going to go live in about 10 minutes, so we might jump over to Arson in just a bit. Oh, interesting. Grady says Hocus Pocus is for kids, Witches of Eastwick is for adults. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Witches of... Now, wait, hold on. Witches of Eastwick. James is laughing at me again. Because I always confuse that with something else, right? What's the thing that I always confuse it with?
I have no idea.
Possibly Moonstruck?
Oh.
I think that's it, yes. Because isn't Cher in both of those?
She is.
Yeah, so Witches of Eastwick has actual witches. But Moonstruck...
Has Nicolas Cage.
Oh, it has Nicolas Cage. Even the poster is kind of similar. Yes, they both have Cher, so I always confuse these two movies. But yeah, okay. So Witches of Eastwick is a more adult witch film. But so what was I going to say? Oh yes, so The Lost Boys. Is it a gay movie? Well, I think it's tough. It's tough, right? Because the characters, like, homosexuality never actually comes up in the movie. But obviously it was directed by, that was a Joel Schumacher, I think. Lost Boys. So yeah, it was a Joel Schumacher film, has a very campy sensibility, and there's sort of an undercurrent of attraction going on throughout. Unfortunately, many of those characters are I don't know. So the vampires, like the movie, if you want to make that metaphor for like, oh, vampirism is homosexuality, it does kind of make like gay people seem like monsters. And like homosexuality is like this terrible curse that is foisted upon people, and it has to be like cured or avoided or killed. So it's not like, so that's not great. But also, you know, I think often homosexuality is coded as being monstrous, and it's not always a bad thing. I think you often see really fun, perhaps not aspirational, but entertaining characters who are like the villains and very coded as gay in a way that is, you know, like they're having a great time and they're enjoying themselves, and it's campy and enjoyable. It's a fun thing to be a monster, to have that power. I think that's part of it, is to like to have the power and control and glee, like to enjoy what you are, to revel in it, can feel kind of monstrous, or can feel kind of queer. And so I think that's sometimes why you see like queer-coded villains and queer-coded monsters and things like the Lost Boys or Ursula in The Little Mermaid, for example, or the Emperor in from Star Wars. So yeah, anyway, The Lost Boys, and of course it's got that guy playing the saxophone. It's got that saxophone guy with the tight pants. He's pretty gay. Torden says, why are so many gay movies, in quotes, gay movies, just really subtle in the coding, but they're surface straight movies? Because you have to slip it in secret. You know, you don't want to alienate, this is what I was talking about before, you don't want to alienate the straights because homosexuality is fundamentally incompatible with capitalism. You have to be like, oh no, this is just a totally normal movie for everybody, haha. But then, you know, the gays can pick up on the little subtle things, which sometimes aren't very subtle. Like, I would not call The Lost Boys subtle, but the queer allegory maybe is more subtle. It's maybe, at least it's something that might go over the heads of a heterosexual audience. Amon says, Moonstruck is about werewolves, not witches. Yes, great. And Grady says, Moonstruck is a movie that put Cher on the map as an actor. Was it? Or I thought Mask. Didn't The Mask come before that? Wait, is it Mask or The Mask? The Mask is the one with Jim Carrey. Mask, Cher. That was 85, and what year was Moonstruck? Moonstruck was 87, yeah, so I want to say Mask was probably what did more for Cher at least initially. She does look good, though, doesn't she? I'm just looking at the poster for Moonstruck. Wait, that's not even her. Is that? No, I think that's... No, that's her. That's her. Couldn't tell at first. I was like, that looks like Susan Sarandon, but she's not even in that. Grady says, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 gay allegory. Oh my goodness. I mean, watch my YouTube video about it. It's very gay. It is a very gay film. And when they were making it, they were like, for years afterwards, they were like, oh no, that's totally an accident. We didn't mean that. And then I feel like in recent years, I'm pretty sure the filmmakers have come out to be like, oh no, yeah, we knew. We knew what we were doing. I mean, they couldn't not, right? I mean, there's lines like the main boy is like, he wants to get in me or something like that. It's like, it's very sexual. At one point, Freddy's like flirting with him. Like he says, you've got the body and I've got the brain. And then he takes the top of his head off and his brain is exposed. So it's, and then there's just like very gay dances in there. And then the main character is menaced. He has this like spooky dream where a snake is wrapped around and the snake is like pushing at his mouth. So subtle it isn't. But yeah, Tomer, it's like giving medicine to a dog. You have to slip it in the food. You have to slip the homosexuality in. Just surprise them. Oh, Matthew Park says, Witches of Eastwick and Moonstruck were both released in 87. Okay. Grady says, there's scenes in Moonstruck that are iconic in film history. Mask was critically acclaimed, but not as iconic of a film. But what about The Mask, or Son of the Mask, starring... starring Cher as the Mask. Anyway, so I'm very happy to be talking about all this stuff. I love, now's the time of year. We got to get all our spooks and frights out as we're getting into the Halloween haunting holiday season, where holiday stuff is coming up soon. Got to think about like queer holiday stuff. Well, obviously, I've got a video on. I've already done a video about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Nope, Pee-wee's Holiday Special. So if you look at I think it's actually Christmas special. I think it's Pee-wee's Christmas special. If you look at my YouTube, I've got a great video about Pee-wee's Christmas special and what just an unmitigated delight it is with Grace Jones and Charo and Cher and who else is in that? Dinah Shore and Joan Rivers and Oprah and Frankie and Annette Funicello and Magic Johnson and Little Richard. It's such a wild cast. It's so crazy that there's so many great people in that special. Oh my god, it's so much fun. I do recommend. What should you watch first? You know what? Watch my video first. Watch my video about Pee-wee's Christmas special, and then watch Pee-wee's Christmas special itself. They're both excellent, if I do say so myself. But yeah, now I've just been starting to think about holiday, like cold weather stuff. As I mentioned, I'm doing some writing for The Stranger and doing some video stuff for The Stranger. So we've got a hibernation themed week coming up with The Stranger. And one of the ideas I had for that was gravy. This makes no sense. Everyone. Gravy versus grave. It's based on the line that nobody remembers from A Christmas Carol, where he's talking to Jacob Marley and he says, you could be a bit of undigested beef or an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you. And so my idea for a video was, what if I went to a graveyard and evaluated and compared different gravestones to different kinds of gravy? I like sampled the gravy and then it's like, what's better, this mushroom gravy or this tombstone of Arthur Denny, died 1893? Makes no sense. What even is that? But oh well, that's the big idea. Yeah. Oh, and BT Dubs, I was talking about this earlier, but still doing more. I've got more Playdate videos in the works. This is another thing that I'm doing with The Stranger, in case you missed me talking about this earlier. I'm doing video games. They're not reviews. They're videos about video games. I'm not like reviewing like 10 out of 7. That's not a review. 7 out of 10. I'm not doing that. I'm not like saying like, here's my critical evaluation of the game. But I'm doing more entertaining like goof 'em up videos about the games. So the Hades one that I just did was me trying to remember all the Greek myths based on the game Hades and my own spotty memory. Got some other little concepts here and there for Baldur's Gate 3 coming out and Monster Hunter, which we've been playing a lot of. I'm really getting into Monster Hunter. I'm liking it a lot. So I might do some video based on. There's a lot to talk about in Monster Hunter: the costumes, the food, the cats, the chores, the stores. No, there's the bonkers monsters themselves. Like I'm really into the Pookie Pookie, this bizarre monster that like wants to lick you with its poison tongue. Matthew Park, I would do my damnedest to get to get 10 out of 7. Uncle Dudley says, nobody remembers. That's one of the best lines from the Marley scene. Thank you. I appreciate that. Grady says, Fall Guys? Here's the thing. Fall Guys just is not sticking with me. It's... I find it... Here's the thing that just didn't wow me about Fall Guys. It's so random. Like, you have so little control over the character. Like, I like a game where you can get better at it. And I feel like Fall Guys has a very low skill ceiling. Also, there's nothing really gay about it. There's not that much to, like, I don't feel like there's that much to talk about even. Like, it's fun to, like, bounce around off people, especially if you're, like, a little chemically enhanced. That can be entertaining. But I don't feel like there's that much to, like, just say about it. Oh, like, oh, you're a little bean, and you're bouncing around in a little marble maze. Cool, great, but I don't know. I don't really have that much that I feel like I can evaluate. I don't know, maybe the costumes, like, I know you could get, like, little upgrades in costumes for your guy, so I could do, like, trying to make Fall Guys costumes out of household items. That's, I don't know about that one. Like, maybe there's something there. Like, I've got 60 seconds, and I've got to grab things from around the house and make a Fall Guys costume. I'm not sure about that. Oh, gosh, Mr. T. You can call it from ladle to grave. Oh boy. Yeah, and I think Toridan's correct that Fall Guys happened, and now Among Us seems to be crushing it. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, there's always some new thing coming along. There's always someone younger and prettier coming down the stairs behind you. That's, you know, Fall Guys is the Nomi Malone of video games. There's a premise. There's a premise for a YouTube video. I do like Mr. T. I do like ladle to grave. I don't know. I'm going to figure out some way to pitch this Gravy of Grave thing to my editor and see if it actually gets made. I did find that I want to be careful that I wasn't like going to like a cemetery where like the recently deceased are buried and like it's offensive. But there's one that has like a lot of like founders of Seattle. So I could compare it to like, you know, who's buried in, I think it's called Lakeview. Seattle Founder Cemetery. I always misspell cemetery. Seattle's Pioneer Cemetery, Lakeview Cemetery Association. Founded 1872. Who's buried there? Carson Boren, one of the founders. That's why we have Boren Ave. Arthur Denny, obviously. That's why we've got Denny Ave. Thomas Mercer. Like, so, like, places that are, you know, pieces of Seattle are named after. Those folks are buried there. Thaddeus Handford. No idea who that is. Henry Yesler, Seattle's first economic father and first millionaire. Oh, well, okay, there we go. Let's go dance on his grave. Let's death to millionaires. You can definitely, I don't know, pour some sausage gravy on Henry Yesler's grave. It's a statement about millionaires. Beriah Brown, first mayor of Seattle. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Uncle Deadly, that's a good idea. Gravy then of grave idea. Cuisine that pairs well with famous ghosts. Like, eat this dish to see this ghost. Honestly, I like that. I think that's very, very good. Yep. Grady says, Thomas Mercer got a whole island named after him. Everyone else just got streets. That's true. That's true. He got the whole damn island. Yeah, I kind of like doing like seance gravy. It still doesn't make sense. But like seance gravy to like commune with the ghosts of Seattle's founders. Which gravy goes with Thomas Mercer? Oh my goodness! I just looked at a picture of him. He has one heck of a beard. Looks like a goat. Well, I don't know. There you go. Goat gravy. What's goat gravy? I don't know. Yeah, so we renamed the lakes. Obviously, they were already people living here, and the lakes already had name, but he gave them their English language names. Yeah, I'd have to do a little planning, little thinking about like what gravy goes with which guy, but I still don't know exactly what the video would be. Like, is it me making the gravy? Is it me eating gravy over their graves? Still don't know, but like, I don't know, doing a Ouija board in the graveyard. It's owned by a private organization. The cemetery is owned by a private organization. I can't imagine they'd be thrilled about me like wandering around just pouring gravy on their lawn. Anyway, Lily says, my new band name is Seance Gravy. It's not bad. Mr. T Bone SF says Pacific Northwest must have lots of millionaire graves of people who used child labor that no one cared if you defiled. Well, I mean, there are like history's greatest monsters of various crimes. Let's see who we got here. We've got Arthur Denny, married Anne Bourne. Log Schoolhouse, studied surveying. He was an engineer. He's a delegate to Congress. None of these things are leaping out as like gravy related, but I'm sure I could find some angle. Find some angle here. So I don't know. I could talk about who these people were, then go shopping, get some ingredients, make the gravy, transport it to the cemetery, try it, commune with their ghosts, talk about how I feel about them. There you go. There's a hibernation video for you. It's insane. It's just bonkers. It makes no sense whatsoever. That's true. It doesn't have to be gravy. Scrooge line lists several dishes. It could just be food in general. Maybe. Yeah, honestly, maybe it's a little camp out picnic in the cemetery. Going to the different graves and having a meal in honor, in tribute, or in opposition to Seattle's founders. YouTube account says, push the boundaries of what is gravy. And that's true. Mr. T-Bone says gravy works with corrupt politicians. That's not bad. That is honestly, that is kind of a workable link. All right, I'm going to turn down the music for a moment and check over on Arson. She's not streaming yet, but she'll probably be getting started in just a few minutes. So we're just going to kick it on over to Arson once she is alive and spend some time arsoning around over on Twitch. I also, by the way, have been thinking about doing more live streams on Twitch because I've been playing so much Monster Hunter, and it just seems like a fun thing to do. I enjoy these live streams that I do with you all on YouTube. I was thinking it might be fun to do some game streams. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in watching. Uncle Deadly, I know you would join for that. I know Uncle Deadly has spent many a cozy evening at home watching us stream this and that. But yeah, should I do some streaming over on Twitch? Some games? Definitely got the Monster Hunter. I've got Craftopia that I've been meaning to play a bunch. Oh, Arson pushed to... Wait, did she push to 12:45 or 2:45? Hold on a moment here. Arsonicki. Where is she? Twitter.com/Arsonicki. Too many N's in Arsonicki. Pushing stream to 12:40. Okay. Due to DMCA prep time. What? Oh. Controversial. All right. Well, we'll hang out for another 10 minutes. If you hold at a discount clothing retailer, it could be Old Navy gravy. Oh, boy. That's terrible. Grady recommends, Portal 2 co-op, and Sim wants more Craftopia. I mean, that could work. I don't know enough about Craftopia to know what kind of experience it would be for a live stream. I will say, I enjoyed it. So Craftopia, I played a little bit of it for you on the live stream a few weeks ago on one of these YouTube live streams. Let's see, do I have... Yes, that's right. So I did play the opening for you. So the game starts with a big red button, and you have to, there's nothing else you can do. You have to press the big red button. And then it cuts to the Earth getting blown up, and then a character greets your character and says, "Welcome. Do you remember Earth? It is the planet you destroyed." So it starts with you forced to destroy the planet, and then starting over with a new planet. So promising start, right? So Craftopia lets you build stuff and make machines and garden and farm, and it's kind of Stardew, but with a little bit more like Minecraft mechanic in there, which I think that sounds great. And I think there might be something very fun in a stream where I make weird machines, and then because you can do like cannons that shoot stuff and treadmills and strange wheels and stuff like that, uses bizarre physics. So I think there might be something fun with me building like weird contraptions, maybe getting a little silly, building weird contraptions, and then talking about here's what I built in Craftopia. So that's an idea. I might do one of those. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what you get. No, we'll see what happens. But I do want to do some more live streams of video games because I miss doing that. I also miss doing the Let's Reads. I don't know how many people remember when I was doing that. I used to do this thing where Monday and Friday nights, I would just go on Twitch and read a book out loud. That was very fun. Tended to be like, I'm looking around to see if any of the books are close by. They are not. We did Sherlock Holmes mysteries for a while. Then we did Agatha Christie. Then we did... for a while we were reading, not Joan Collins, what's her name? From Mildred Pierce. Joan Cusack. Nope. Joan Rivers. Nope. Mildred Pierce. I have a computer in front of me when I'm doing what's her name now, so I can actually look it up. Who's in that movie? Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford. So I was reading Joan Crawford's book, My Way of Life, for a while. So yeah, I'd be interested. Maybe I'll read some of these fantasy novels that I'm reading. I'm kind of into that. Sim wants more Craftopia. Grady wants Portal 2. Mr. T says, all this talk of gravy has me getting hungry. Me too. I need to eat. I'm getting spooky. Spooky? I'm getting spacey. I'm getting spooky too. I'm getting spacey. Alexa says, what's your favorite Christmas Carol and why is it the Muppets? That is a good one. It is a very good one. I'm trying to think if there's a Christmas Carol adaptation that I like more. I gotta say, I do like, it's not like a full adaptation, but there's a brief scene on Star Trek The Next Generation where Data is doing Christmas Carol. He's doing Ebenezer Scrooge. It's good. I like it a lot. That may be my favorite Christmas Carol adaptation. That may be my favorite one. Yeah, I think that's my favorite one. But the Muppets one is a close runner-up. It's just a stroke of genius that the character, they made Fozziwig. Like, it's such a good joke. It's a stupid joke, but it's good. Let's see. Yeah, Torden says, who among us would not hit that button? Uncle Deadly loved the Let's Reads. And yeah, Matthew Park, I did stay up to date with the Lindsay Ellis stuff. I mean, it's interesting because on one hand, like, I'm super like actively disinterested and avoidant when it comes to like YouTube drama. I want none of that. I want no part of like, this person's causing a fuss and I'm angry at them and let's get angry and do like accusatory videos. Blah. Not here for that. But I think it could be interesting because it does seem like Lindsay is forcing the issue for YouTube to deal with and other sites to deal with people who abuse the content reporting system. So if that is indeed what's going on, if this is like forcing a reckoning with using content reporting, misusing the reporting system to basically bully and intimidate and harass people, you know, sites have not done a great job of dealing with that. But if this is gonna force them to address the issue, maybe this could be a good thing. And I don't know if that's their intent or not, but it's interesting. Brian, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Take this and buy some gravy ingredients. There's a lot of gravy we can get with this grave. Brian, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hooray, hooray. Lovely to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. And I hope I've kept you company on your workout, which I know Saturdays are often your watch my stream and exercise bike. So I hope, or treadmill? I can't remember. But anyway, hope you're having a lovely, vigorous afternoon. Uncle Deadly says, you haven't read a Stone Mattress in too long. And Tomra misses the live reads as well. Okay, it's good to know that those are popular. I mean, I can read Dragonbone Chair out loud. Obviously, that is copyrighted and perhaps a violation of some sort of thing. But I don't know. I don't feel like that dilutes the market value that much. It's certainly not transformative. All right, I'll have to think about the fair use of reading someone else's copyrighted novel on a stream. And also the likelihood that anyone is going to care. Yeah, Mr. T-Bone says that TNG is an inside joke to Patrick Stewart's one-man show he was doing at the time. Oh. Okay. Oh, man. Patrick Stewart doing a one-man version of Christmas Carol? Was that what it was? Was he doing like a one-man Christmas Carol? That sounds great. Norman says, oh, okay. That is a good, you're right, Norman, that is true. Carol Kane is this distant ghost of Christmas present. That's what makes Scrooged memorable for me. Scrooged is good. I think it's fair to call that a Christmas Carol adaptation. It's quite adapted, but still, I think that's fair. And it's difficult for me to think of any character in any other adaptation that is as much fun as that Carol Kane fairy. So, yeah, that is not bad. It's a good movie. Although I do recall the ending of Scrooged being very abrupt. I seem to recall it being very like Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, and now everyone's on his side, and everyone's happy, and everyone's doing good now. Everyone's okay. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. I also remember there being a non-consensual kiss at the end that's kind of troubling. I don't remember exactly what the deal was with that. But yeah, I know it is a good Christmas Carol. I got to start looking for like gay Christmas stuff. I mean, so Christmas, Halloween is kind of great gay Christmas, and Christmas is kind of gay Halloween. So I gotta think of like, I mean, there's Home for the Holidays, obviously. Other queer holiday stuff. Or even queer adjacent or like queer coded holiday stuff. Pee-wee's Christmas special obviously is the big one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think if there's other stuff that I might want to talk about. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Or like New Year's Eve. Is there anything gay in like Is Love Actually the Christmas movie, the terrible, terrible Christmas movie that some people like? Yeah. It's the Love Actually to Christmas movie. Is there anything gay in that? It's literally the worst movie ever made. Can't remember if there's anything. Somebody, one of my friends gave it to me. He's like, I love this movie. And I watched it and it's like, I could not object more strenuously to a film than I do right now. It just has such intense, what is it? Such, like, I feel like everybody, here's what it is with Love Actually. I feel like everything that's supposed to be like sweet and lovely in the movie is actually unsettling and creepy and selfish. It is funny. Like, there are good funny jokes in there. But, yeah, I felt like everything in that movie where it was clear that the movie was like, isn't this lovely? I was like, oh, I actually don't like what they're doing to each other. I can't remember if there's anything actually gay in there. I mean, maybe that's why it didn't. Honestly, maybe if there was like a gay Love Actually, maybe I'd be like, it's sweet, it's romantic, I love it. I don't know. Maybe there's something about it that heterosexuals can see and I can't. And if there was a gay version, then I'd be like, okay, now I'm into it. It is a good cast, partially. Who we got here? Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Laura Linney, Emma Thompson. You know what? Here's another thing. A lot of the stories were told from the men's point of view that I wanted to be told from the women's point of view. Not exclusively, like it isn't just like an all-men movie, but a lot of the stories were like, oh, we're spending a lot of time with the male characters here. And I'm really a lot more interested in the women. I mean, which is always the case. I tweeted about this a few days ago. Like, that's super the case with the Marvel movies for me. I mean, obviously, Captain Marvel, I think, is like it's my favorite of those films. My two favorite Marvel movies, Captain Marvel and Black Panther. But I mean, even Black Panther, I'm like, I would be fine spending more time with the women in this movie. And of course, with like a lot of the other films, like even Iron Man and Thor. Boy, oh boy, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I love that movie. I think it's great. But again, like if we had like 3 times the amount of Valkyrie in that movie than we do, and 3 times the amount of what's her name, his sister, you know, his sister. What's her name? Kate Blanchett's character, whose name I've forgotten. Is she just Death? Does she play Death? I feel like she has a different name. Thor Ragnarok. Kate Blanchett. I think I spelled every word of that wrong. Oh, Hela, of course, Hela. Yeah, so I feel like, you know, if we just spent more time with the women characters, a lot of movies would be improved. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, yes, that is true. There are some Hallmark and Lifetime queer Christmas movies happening this year, so they say. I'll be interested to see what those are. We'll see. Amon says, I also did not love Love Actually. I think it's like Hocus Pocus and watching it. It's like with Hocus Pocus and watching it as an adult. Oh, Nikki has just started, so we may jump on over to her. Let's go spend some time doing an Arson Nikki. So I'm going to post a link to her in the chat. Doop, doop, doop. She's doing, streaming words on stream. Okay, sure. So here's Arson's link in the chat. We're going to hop on over there and follow her. Say hello to Arson for me and let her know you're a fan. I don't know. Give her a fond, happy Halloween. That's what we'll do with Arson. Yeah, and then I'm gonna give some more thought to streaming video games, and we'll see what happens. We'll just see. No firm plans on that yet, but that may be something coming up. Yeah, thanks to everybody who joined. Thanks to Brian for the lovely tip. Thanks to our earlier tippers who've like scrolled off and away. But I think we had Bumble and I think we had Tom up there doing some tips earlier. So thank you. And we'll see you again very soon on another live stream. Oh, and of course, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/MattBaum to help support these live streams, get some rewards, get some more stuff from me, some behind-the-scenes videos, some treats in the mail, exclusive access to the podcast, cozy pants, all that loveliness. Okie dokie, everybody. As always, keep it cracking. Nope, I don't know. As always, catchphrase, insert catchphrase here. All right, and here's some classical music for you.